Have you ever felt as though your heart was trying to tell you something that your mind kept overlooking? There are moments in life when everything seems ordinary on the outside, yet deep within, something begins to shift. Perhaps that is why you clicked on this video today. Not because of chance, but because you have been searching for peace, direction, and reassurance that your story is not over. Take a quiet moment wherever you are. Let the noise of the day fade into the background. This isn't about fear. It isn't about counting down the last few minutes before something terrible happens. It is about recognizing that every day is an opportunity to listen more closely to God's wisdom and to grow in faith. Throughout Scripture, we see that God often encouraged His people through unexpected moments. Sometimes strength arrived in the middle of uncertainty. Sometimes hope appeared when everything else seemed lost. And many times, courage was found not because the road became easy, but because God remained faithful through every step. The Bible describes Michael as an archangel associated with courage, protection, and standing firm in the face of spiritual battles. That image reminds us that we are not called to live in constant fear. We are called to stand with faith, wisdom, and confidence, trusting that God walks with us even when we cannot see the whole path ahead. Perhaps you've been carrying burdens that no one else knows about. Maybe you've smiled through difficult days while quietly wondering if your prayers have been heard. Maybe you've asked God for a sign that your life still has purpose. If that describes you, let this be your reminder: your worth is not measured by your circumstances. Your value does not disappear because life has become difficult. The same God who has carried countless people through impossible seasons is still worthy of your trust today. Think back over your own life. There were moments you believed you would never overcome. Yet somehow, step by step, you made it here. That doesn't mean every question has been answered. It means your story is still being written. Sometimes we expect God to speak through dramatic events, but often His guidance comes through quiet conviction, wise counsel, the words of Scripture, or the gentle encouragement of another person. Those moments are easy to overlook if we're constantly distracted. So today, instead of asking, "What am I afraid of losing?" ask yourself, "What kind of person is God shaping me to become?" That question changes everything. Because when your focus shifts from fear to faith, from panic to purpose, your heart becomes ready to recognize opportunities you may have ignored before. Doors that once seemed closed begin to look different. Relationships begin to heal. Your perspective begins to change. No one can promise exactly what tomorrow holds. But we can choose how we meet tomorrow. We can meet it with hope instead of despair, with wisdom instead of impulse, and with confidence instead of fear. Maybe this moment isn't about racing against a clock. Maybe it's about realizing that today is the right time to begin trusting God more deeply than yesterday. And if that's true, then this moment matters not because heaven is running out of time, but because every moment we draw closer to God has the power to reshape the way we live from this day forward. The journey is only beginning, and what comes next may challenge the way you've been seeing your own life all along. There is something remarkable about the way hope grows. It rarely appears all at once. More often, it begins as a single quiet decision, the decision not to give up today. Perhaps you have been waiting for life to change before you find peace. But what if peace is not the reward that comes after every problem disappears? What if it is the strength God offers while you are still walking through the uncertainty? Think about the people throughout the Bible who faced moments of waiting. Their journeys were rarely quick. They experienced disappointment, unanswered questions, and seasons when the next step seemed impossible to see. Yet those seasons were not wasted. They became the places where character was refined, faith became stronger, and courage grew deeper. That same truth can encourage us today. Waiting does not always mean nothing is happening. Sometimes the greatest work is taking place beneath the surface, where no one else can see it. Just as a seed develops roots long before anyone notices the first green leaf, your own growth may be happening in ways that are invisible today but meaningful for tomorrow. Maybe you've been asking why certain doors closed. Maybe you've wondered why opportunities seem to disappear just when you felt ready. Although no one can know every reason behind life's events, many people later discover that what once felt like a painful setback became the very experience that prepared them for something better. Looking back, they realized that wisdom often arrived long before success did. That is why today's choices matter. Every act of kindness. Every moment of forgiveness. Every decision to remain honest when it would be easier to compromise. These small choices shape the person you are becoming. The world often celebrates instant results, but God frequently works through steady transformation. Mountains are climbed one step at a time. Strong foundations are built one stone at a time. Lasting faith grows one faithful day at a time. If you've ever felt overlooked, remember this: your value does not depend on how many people notice your efforts. Integrity matters even when no applause follows. Compassion matters even when it goes unseen. Faithfulness matters even when the results are delayed. There may also be people in your life who misunderstand your journey. Not everyone will recognize the battles you've faced or the progress you've made. That's okay. Your purpose is not to earn everyone's approval but to continue walking in wisdom, humility, and love. Take a moment to reflect. What burden have you been carrying that you were never meant to carry alone? What fear keeps repeating in your thoughts? What hope have you quietly set aside because disappointment convinced you it was impossible? Bring those thoughts honestly before God in prayer. You don't need perfect words. Sincere faith is not measured by eloquence but by trust. As you continue through your day, pay attention to the ordinary moments. A meaningful conversation. A passage of scripture that speaks directly to your situation. An opportunity to encourage someone else. These moments may seem small, but they often become turning points that we only recognize later. And if this message has encouraged you so far, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who could use a reminder that hope is never wasted. Sometimes a single encouraging message reaches a heart at exactly the right time. The path ahead may still include challenges, but challenges do not have the final word. Faith invites us to keep moving forward with courage, trusting that each step taken with wisdom and love has lasting value. Because when you choose hope over fear and faith over despair, you begin to see possibilities where you once saw only obstacles. And in the next part, we'll explore how recognizing everyday moments of grace can transform the direction of an entire life. As you continue listening, take a moment to think about the path you've already traveled. It is easy to focus on what is still missing, but how often do we pause to recognize the strength that has carried us this far? Every challenge you have faced has taught you something, even if you did not realize it at the time. Every season of waiting has shaped your character. Every difficult conversation, every disappointment, and every unexpected detour has become part of the story that makes you who you are today. One of the greatest temptations during difficult seasons is believing that nothing is changing because we cannot immediately see results. Yet many of the most important transformations happen quietly. A tree does not become strong overnight. Its roots grow patiently beneath the surface long before anyone notices the height of its branches. In much the same way, faith often develops in places where no one else is watching. Perhaps today you feel as though your prayers have been unanswered. Maybe you have asked the same questions again and again, wondering whether your hopes still matter. Remember that waiting is not the same as being forgotten. Throughout Scripture, people often experienced long periods of uncertainty before they saw the next chapter unfold. Those seasons were not empty. They prepared hearts, strengthened character, and revealed the importance of trusting God one day at a time. It is natural to want immediate answers. We live in a world that celebrates speed, quick solutions, and instant success. But wisdom is rarely formed in a hurry. Patience teaches us to see beyond the moment. It reminds us that lasting growth is worth more than temporary comfort. There may be relationships in your life that have become strained. There may be words you wish had never been spoken or opportunities you wish you had not missed. While we cannot change yesterday, we can choose how we respond today. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it can free your heart from carrying unnecessary burdens into the future. Kindness does not guarantee that everyone will respond positively, but it reflects the character God calls us to develop. Ask yourself a simple question: what kind of person do I want to become? That question is often more powerful than asking, when will everything become easier? Because as your character grows, your ability to face life's challenges grows with it. Consider the people around you. Someone may be carrying a hidden burden. A smile, an encouraging word, or a simple act of generosity may have a greater impact than you realize. We are often so focused on our own struggles that we forget how deeply our actions can influence another person's day. If this message has encouraged you, take a moment to leave a comment sharing one word that describes what you're hoping for in this season of your life. Your words may encourage someone else who reads them and remind them that they are not walking alone. As this journey continues, remember that hope is not built on perfect circumstances. Hope is built on the confidence that God remains faithful, even when life feels uncertain. Every sunrise is a reminder that new beginnings are possible. Every breath is an opportunity to choose gratitude instead of bitterness, faith instead of fear, and love instead of resentment. You do not have to know every detail about tomorrow to take the next faithful step today. Often, that single step is enough. One decision to trust. One decision to forgive. One decision to persevere. Over time, those small choices become the foundation of a life marked by wisdom, resilience, and peace. So wherever you are right now, carry this thought with you: your story is still unfolding. The chapters ahead have not yet been written. Continue seeking God through prayer, scripture, and faithful living. Continue choosing hope when discouragement whispers otherwise. Continue believing that every day offers another opportunity to grow into the person God calls you to be. And as you move forward, may your heart be filled with courage, your mind with wisdom, and your life with the quiet confidence that comes from walking faithfully, one step at a time. As this journey continues, there is one truth that deserves to be remembered above all else. The way you respond to today's ordinary moments often determines the direction of tomorrow's extraordinary opportunities. It is easy to believe that life changes only through dramatic events, but more often, lasting transformation begins with quiet faithfulness. Every sunrise brings a new invitation. Not an invitation to have all the answers, but an invitation to trust God one more day. One more prayer. One more act of kindness. One more decision to keep moving forward even when the destination is not fully visible. There will always be voices that tell you to give up. Some come from the outside through criticism or disappointment. Others come from within through doubt and fear. Those voices may be loud, but they do not have to become the foundation of your life. Instead, choose to anchor yourself in what is lasting, God's love, His wisdom, and His promises found in Scripture. When you begin each day with gratitude, something remarkable happens. Your circumstances may not change immediately, but your perspective begins to shift. You start noticing opportunities instead of only obstacles. You begin recognizing moments of grace that might otherwise have gone unnoticed. A kind conversation. An unexpected answer. The strength to face another day. These gifts remind us that hope is often found in the ordinary. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect moment before taking a step of faith. They tell themselves they will begin serving others once life becomes easier. They will forgive once they receive an apology. They will trust once every question has been answered. But faith rarely grows through perfect conditions. It grows through faithful decisions made in imperfect circumstances. Consider the influence you already have. Someone may be watching how you respond to difficulty. They may never tell you, but your patience could inspire them to persevere. Your honesty could encourage them to choose integrity. Your compassion could become the reason they believe kindness still exists in the world. Never underestimate the impact of a faithful life. History is filled with people whose greatest influence came not through fame or wealth, but through consistent character. They chose truth when lies were easier. They chose humility when pride seemed more rewarding. They chose service instead of selfishness. Their legacy reminds us that greatness is measured not only by achievements but by the lives we touch. Perhaps you've wondered whether your efforts matter. Maybe you've prayed quietly for your family, worked diligently without recognition, or continued doing what is right when no one seemed to notice. Those moments are not wasted. Character is formed through consistency, and God sees the faithfulness that others may overlook. If you're listening today while carrying a heavy burden, remember that you do not have to carry it alone. Bring your concerns to God in prayer. Speak honestly. Listen patiently. Seek wisdom through Scripture. Reach out to trusted people who can encourage you and walk alongside you. Faith is not meant to be lived in isolation. Take a moment to reflect on this question. If fear no longer controlled your decisions, what step would you take today? Perhaps you would reconcile with someone. Perhaps you would begin a new opportunity. Perhaps you would finally believe that your life still has purpose, even after disappointment. Growth often begins with a single courageous step. And if this message has encouraged your heart, let us know in the comments by sharing one word that describes what you are trusting God for in this season. Your testimony may become a source of hope for someone reading beside you. As we prepare for the final part of this message, remember that the story God writes through a faithful life is not built in a single day. It is written through thousands of quiet choices, moments of trust, acts of compassion, and decisions to keep walking forward even when the path is uncertain. The final chapter will bring these reflections together and leave you with a lasting reminder that hope, faith, and perseverance are not just ideas, they are daily practices that can shape the course of an entire life.